Hello crafters, I'm JanB and I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. Today I'm going to show you how I put together this little gift. It's absolutely brilliant as a teacher's gift or as a thank you gift or maybe a co-worker's. Absolutely charming, very easy to do. And before I tell you what the card pieces are that we're going to need to put this together, I'm going to give you a quick tour round, show you what it is. Okay, so it's a pizza box, ribbon tied together, to hold it together rather. And this on here is the design of the cards inside. So if you do craft shows and you want to be able to make these to sell, you don't have to keep opening up boxes to show people what the cards are like, assuming that you've got 5 the same inside. Okay, so that's the inside of the box. It's got a shiny inside. I'll talk more about that in a minute. But these are the 5 cards I've made, all the same except for I have changed around the sentiment. I couldn't quite decide which one I liked best, so I was trying all of them, and I think I prefer this one out of all of them. But by showing you, it gives you a chance to make your mind up before you actually decide to go ahead and do it. Okay, so they're the 5 cards. Envelopes, we sell those, so there's no problem there. With the boxes, we also sell these, and they come in a pack of 8, flat pack like this, and although it doesn't say it on the label on the back, it does say in the catalogue that they are food safe. Okay, on dimensional backing, on the inside they are shiny, which is the food side, and matte on the outside. On my outside here, what I've done is I have chosen a stamp set that had a Father Christmas hat in it, and I've stamped that all over, and then I coloured it, and then I used the Stella pen. The thing is with this, I would not recommend that you do this if you're going to use the box as for food, like if you're going to put a cookie in there, because obviously you're putting painting inside there, and these sides are going to be going up against these sides. So if you're doing food, I would either leave them blank or cover them with, layering with cardstock, pattern cardstock or DSP. But it's a brilliant idea. So I'm going to do exactly the same as what I've done here, except one change. The scalloped square there I'm going to do in red. I like the white, white and white, but I want to know what it looks like with white, red, white. Okay, again, it gives you an idea to decide what you would like before you actually go ahead and make it. Right, so what we're going to need is 5, I'm not going to make all of them, I'm only going to make one so I can show you how I do it. You need 5 3x3 cards, and what I've done with that is I have cut from a 12x12 sheet 8 pieces that measure 6x3 and scored them at 3 inches, and in centimetres that is 7.6 by 15.2 and scored at 7.6 centimetres. Something else before I go too far that I find these boxes useful, in front of me here I've got 3 of these boxes and they're all open, and this is the one I keep my cards in. So once I've finished at the end of the day, I can just close it up. I will explain about the pattern on the boxes when I get there. And then I've got this one which has got my 3x3 sheets in it, which you'll hear me talk about in a moment, and this one here which has got my envelopes in it. So not only useful for Christmas gifts, but also for storing your own bits and pieces. Right, so we've got 5 cards, and then we need 6 pieces of Whisper White that measure 3 inches by 3 inches, which is 7.6 by 7.6 centimetres. And then we need 6 pieces of real red cardstock that measure 3 by 3 or inches, or 7.6 by 7.6 centimetres. And then you need 2 pieces of Whisper White that measure approximately 2.5 inches by 7.5 inches, which is 6.4 by 19 centimetres. You'll need a scrap. What was I going to do with this bit? Oh, that must be for the scrap for the his bubble on here. But really and truly, I think by the time we've punched this out, there's going to be enough scraps there. But again, we'll test that when we get there. And then for the sentiment, you need a couple of thin strips, total length about 12 inches and about 3/8 of an inch thick, which in centimetres is 0.6 centimetres wide and about 30 centimetres long. Okay, so I say I'm not going to do all of these. I'm going to do one for the front of the box. I'm going to do one for here and one actual card. So that's 2. So I'll put 2 of those back. I'll have 2 of those. Only one card. That goes down, that goes down. I need another one of these for this, don't I? Does that mean so I've miscalculated? Yes, there should be 7 of these whisper white ones. That's right, because you don't get the card on that one. Okay, sorry about that. Right, so to start off with, I think I will decorate the box. As I say, it's shiny one side, matte the other, which is really nice and easy for stamping on. Obviously, that took an awful lot of stamping, so here's one I made earlier. Not totally, because I do like to show you bits of what I do. So I've stamped all of that, coloured all of that. I'm just going to finish off this little bit here. Now this is the front of it, and you could say, well, I'm not going to bother to do that bit because I'm going to stick that over it like that. Okay. I tend to, because it helps me to make sure that I've actually got the patterns sort of level. But I might cut corners now to save time for the video. Right, so I'm using basic black Archival ink, and I do tip the hat any direction at all. And I try and come off a little bit as well. That wasn't very clever. Right, can I get that black line on there? Not too bad. Right, okay. So I then paint these using my real red marker pen. Can you imagine how long it would let this video run for if I did all of this in front of you? You'd be able to go out and cook your dinner. Okay, let's just cut a few corners here. As long as I've got the outside bit there done, that's okay. And I'll just do the outside bit here as well. Let me just double check. Yep, that's good to go. So when I do that, now after I've done that bit, I use my clear Wink of Stella pen and I colour the cuff around his hood, his hat, and also the bobbly bit. Didn't need that bobble bit. One thing I will say to be careful about this, especially if you're like me and you've got a little tendency to go over edges, be careful with your Wink of Stella, because if it goes over the red, it can pick the colour up and start making your furry bits go pink. Okay, so that's going to be enough for that, because I will be covering it up. And these are as easy as pie to put together. If you've got bits in that corner or that corner, just move them out. And then all you need to do is fold on all of these fold lines. Okay, so then those two fold in, then that one folds over. Okay, so where you've got the double fold here, put the tabs in, fold that up and then that one down. Then bring these two flaps in. Okay, so that's the base of your box, and then these three just fit on the inside. So that's the top of your box, and then the picture of the the design on your card will go on the top there. Okay, so that's the box prepared, but you can see what I mean about not using this box for food once it's been decorated. But before I go on, let me show you other decorations that I've done. Sorry, this one here I have just stamped. I can't remember the name of the stamp set that I used on this, sorry. But I used Sahara Sand ink and just stamped that all over the box. That was, then I thought that was a nice idea. Then I moved on to trying embossing. So I've done gold embossing on this one. I stamped over the design using embossing Versamark and then gold embossing powder. And I really like that. But one thing, if you do this, don't try and fold the box while it's still warm, because I did, and as soon as I folded it, it cracked. Okay, but that doesn't happen if you let your box go cold first. You see that? On that fold there, how it's all cracked. And that's because I did it while it was still hot. So, lesson learned. And then I moved on and did one in silver. Again, I like this one. Okay. It takes a lot longer to do rather than just decorating it with DSP, but I just felt that it was something a little bit different. Let's leave that open, that's got my sheets in there. So that's that. Now I'm going to decorate two of these, not that, two of these. And I'm going to need my Father Christmas pieces, and I'm going to need these for my sentiments. Right, let's do Father Christmas first. I've got enough for everything here for 6, but as I say, I'm only going to be doing 2. Now the first thing with these sheets here for the Father Christmas, Father Christmas, when you stamp this, stamp it over towards the side here. Don't go in the centre. And I'll show you why. I will stamp the... no, these need to be separate sheets, don't they? Didn't do that very well. Thinking about it. Or do you? Let me think. Oh no, this is... Okay, I've done this right, haven't I? Yes, that's right. I have done it right. The reason I've said to put it over this side a bit is so that you've got somewhere to hold when you put this into the punch. And by doing them on top of each other, you don't have to worry about punching odd bits out. Whereas if you did them side by side, you'd have to cut each piece separately. Okay, so that's one. Just line that up. In fact, you might find it easier to colour it before you punch out. Okay, you get all this shrapnel that comes with it. and you need to cut that bottom bit off. And there we go. Right. The other bit that I gave you that you needed, which I don't think you do, is for the pom-pom for his hat, but you get these scraps left over, and that really is quite enough. I didn't show you the stamp set. This is from last year. It's the Cookie Cutter Christmas, and I'm using the Father Christmas, and that's his little pom-pom. And this comes with the Santa Builder Cookie Cutter something punch, which is brilliant because it cuts out all of these, and it cuts out that one as well because that's Father Christmas upside down with the legs and the arms. Brilliant set, this one. That's all I need out of there, so just do 2 of these on this little scrap, and then you can put this back into your punch, and you will find there are 2 circles just there. Use one of those to punch out like that, and then the other one. Oops, let's go to that one. Okay. That is what that piece was going to be for, but as I say, you don't really need that. So I will save that one for my other cards, because I will finish this off to make another box. I've got a craft show coming up in about 3 weeks' time, so I will have these. Right, so my real red pen. Colour there. His hat. His jacket. Such nice thick outlines on this image, and it makes it so easy to colour in. And then his trousers. You may like to give him black trousers. I think he should be all in red. This is why it's easier to colour them before you punch them out. It's a bit of a fiddle holding them still. It's worse if you try to get to the pom-pom and you start trying to paint that with your glitter pen. Obviously if you punch it out before painting it with a glitter pen, then it's better to adhere it to Father Christmas's hat before you try using your glitter pen. Now when I move on to his buckle and his boots, I don't use black for those because I find black is too dark. There are image lines on his, where's my pens gone? I always lose something, don't I? Let's see if I've got some spare ones. Yep. Sorry about that. What was I saying? Oh yeah, there's lines on his boots, and if you do black, in fact even this belt here, it's got a little, you can see the pointed bit down on the boots has got that line. If you use black, it just all disappears. I also do his mittens in the grey as well. Belt first. And then the boots. Okay, and then to finish that off, now I've still got my Stella gold glitter pen, so I use that for his buckle. If you don't, what I suggest you do is if you use something like crushed curry ink and then go over it with your clear Stella pen, you get a very, very similar effect. And now for the rest of my Santa, I'm going over with my clear Stella pen, and I do his cuff on his hat, moustache, beard, cuffs on his sleeves, the cuff down the front of his jacket, which I think is called the placket, and the cuffs on his trousers. Oops, a bit clumsy there, wasn't I? Again, be careful of the red, because your Stella can pick it up and give Father Christmas pink fur on his outfit. Not quite the right thing to do. Right, there we go, that's that. Can I do this? Yeah. Probably easier to get it stuck on there first though. Right, so what I will do now is I'm going to use my Big Shot, and I'm going to cut those two out, and I'm going to cut these two out. And the dies I'm going to be using for these are, for the red, I'm going to be using the Layering Squares Framelits, and I'm using the scalloped one, number 9, that's size 9, and then for this one I'm using Stitched Shapes, that's for the white, and I'm using the largest square. So let me just clear the decks here a little bit. I need to do 2 of each, don't I? There we go, the red scallop. You can see there's hardly any waste there if you've got a 3x3 square. In fact, let me turn that over. If you've got a warp on your cutting mat, it's better to have the dip of your warp going down if you need your dies to actually adhere to the cardstock. Let's bring that out a little bit. There we go. And that's that. Okay, so that's a square, stitched square. And that's a scalloped square. And just do the other two. There we go. There's that one. So that's all finished with. So one card, one topper, one red one, red one, and that. Let's bring Father Christmas back. Now, Father Christmas, I'm going to adhere him to the card using dimensionals. And I don't know whether you've got the mini dimensionals or not, but I do find I use them probably more than I use the large ones. When you put glue on the back of this to put it onto Santa's head, you only need a little bit on half of it. And as usual, if you find that you've put too much glue on there, if you just stamp it off, can you see that? Yes, you can. If you just stamp that off on a piece of paper, then it will be fine to go. Just remember which side is the sticky side. That one looks okay. There we go. So for the dimensionals, what I do is I start off with large ones, one for the head and one for the body. You may feel that that's enough, which it possibly is. I do tend to use quite a lot on mine. But it's not as if it's an expensive item. Oops, not as if it's an expensive item. I got stuck under my finger now. That's better. Now on the first one I put a small dimensional underneath the bobble there, but I'm not going to do that, and I'll explain why when I get there. Now I'm going to put these onto the centre of my cards. What I did with the sentiments, it's Merry Christmas in one line, but because I don't really have the room to put that length of a sentiment on my card, because there's absolutely no room, so I've cut mine in half. As you know, I can't cut a straight line, I can't see a straight line, let alone cut one. So I did stamp a long line of them, and then I used my guillotine to cut them. Right, so that's those. I know I've forgotten as well. As you know, something else about me, I don't like not having eyes. That's not the right one. This one. So if you've got a thin pen, journaling pen, this is 0.1, yes. What I do is on the eyes, let me show you what they look like first. I just do another half circle like that, but on the other opposite side, so that I get a circle. Okay, not precisely straight, but they'll be right. And then once I've done that, I colour part of it in. Okay. As I say, not perfect. That one's better. Much better. Right, so the rest of these I am going to adhere down with Tombow. I'm not going to put them up on any more dimensionals. And you can use whichever is your preferred glue. Fast fuse, tear and tape. Now with this, there isn't much red that's going to be showing through. There we go. If you've got any hairy bits, just knock them off. If you've got lots of them, then I suggest you get a brush out to do it. But these don't seem to be bad. That's the right side. There we go. Okay, so one for the actual greeting card. And again, I'm just using glue. Then once it's all done, we can decide which we like best, whether we like it with all white or white, red, white. And if you are going to do these 3x3, it probably is worth your while getting the 12x12 Whisper White sheets as well. Okay, so that's that, that's that. I just need these sentiments. So let's just bring this over. I have cheated in as much as mine are already, but I'll just show you. The sentiment I'm using is from At Home With You. It's just this little one here that I'm using. And by the way, the stamp that I used for my box, that was from Santa's Suit. That's the hat that I used. It does have two-step stamping to colour the inside, and that would be a lot quicker, but I just didn't trust myself on a box because there are like the score lines you've got to get over and such like. So I gave that one a miss. Right, so this is my sentiment, Merry Christmas. I'm using the basic black Archival ink. And what I do is with my strip, I just stamp lots of them along here, but leave quite a gap here, otherwise you finish up with a little bit that you're trying to put through your guillotine and it's too small to hold it steady. And these are nice because your strip is so narrow. She says try not to get her head over the screen. In fact, I might have touched that down too soon. No, I didn't. It's a bit light, but that's okay. And then I just go down and stamping. I'm not going to be actually using these for this card. I'm going to put these aside and save them for later, because I will bring across to show you what I have done. These are mine, all my Merries and my Christmases. So what I'm going to do is move that out of the way. I can't see what I've done with my rubbish bin. So I've decided that I like them just down here, which is what I'm going to do. So I need 2 of these, and I need 2 of these. Again, you can use what you like on here, whether you want fast views, which I imagine is a bit of a fiddle using on such a small piece. Tear and tape you could use too. Right, now what I do is, because I struggle with my straight lines, I count up the amount of scoops that I go up. So this one I go up 2 scoops, and then I line up my straight edge on my sentiment on the straight edge of the white stitched frame, and I assume that if I've cut that line straight, my Christmas will be straight as well, which I think it is, and likewise with the Merry. And then this one I just guess a nice distance above the Christmas. In fact, that definitely doesn't look straight, does it? Okay, let's just move that in a little bit. Let me hold that up to see. I think that might be my eyes, actually. I think that's me. Oh well. So this one I'm going to go 2 scoops up. Then straighten this up on that line there. Yes, that looks okay. And then this one. I think that's okay. I can normally tell once I see the video whether I got it straight or not, but by then it's too late. Right, so with this one, this is the one that I'm doing on top because it is just a card. So more Tombow, let's just close that up. Ready. Just make sure I cover up the unpainted bits, which isn't too difficult. Okay, and then I will show you how I tie my ribbon. So we just imagine we've got all the cards in there. Get rid of that. This is only a bow that I'm putting on, so the ribbon that I'm putting on. Right, I'm going to use the same ribbon as before because I know that's the right length, and I will tell you how long that is. That's 16. About 26 inches. So what I like to do, I've left a white bit in his hat, that's annoying me. That's better. Yes, start off from the front. And what it is, I want to have this ribbon up the top and this one down the side so it doesn't interfere with Father Christmas. So So it's got to be, yeah, cross over here. And what I find is when you get your ribbon to lay down, and then when that one is going to go up that way, fold it over rather than trying to make it stay the same way. That way you get a much nicer fold at the back there. Okay, shall I show you that again? So they're folded flat on the board, and then as you bring this one, you fold it over and you fold that one over, and then hold it tight and bring it up. Okay, I haven't done that too well, I could do it with it a bit longer. But just don't look at the back. I'm just moving this so that I can tie it for the video. I would go back to the beginning again if I was doing this for real. You may want to start off with a bit more than the 26 inches. Oh, that's gone quite nicely. I wouldn't choose that to go down sideways. Well, you get the idea. I'm not going to fuss too much about that. So there we go. There's my really super little teacher's gift, co-worker's gift, neighbour's gift, thank you gift, whatever. So I just want to show you one other that I've made, and this one I featured on my blog on the 9th of September. Excuse me, I've got a little bit of a cold. And this is the one that I did. I used the Merry Patterns stamp set, which is the one that's on special offer during September and October, which means any order that you put in, whether it's a workshop order or a personal order, if it comes to £250, you get this stamp set free on top of the other rewards that you get for hosting the event. Oh no, how have I done that? Always on videos. Well, never mind, and we'll just scratch my fingernail over that. So that's the card front, and inside these are the little cards that I made. Again, all the same, because I will be selling these at a craft show. Okay, so I hope you've enjoyed today's project, and I hope you give it a try. Leave a tatty old ribbon sitting there. Many thanks for joining me today. I will leave the products that I've used and the measurements and everything in the box below the video. If you have any questions, there'll be a space down there for you to leave your comments. I'm always happy to answer any questions that you have. If you've enjoyed my video and would like to be notified when I upload new ones, which is normally Wednesdays and Sundays, please subscribe to my YouTube channel by clicking on the subscribe button, and if you feel like giving me a thumbs up, that'd be really appreciated. Many thanks for joining me today. Until next time, happy crafting. Cheerio.